I hope you understand the general decision making logic. Then the promoter holding. Now you see, in our case, initially the promoters were holding 1 million shares at $10 each, that means 10 million, and the public was holding 0.8 million shares. That means the contribution or the share of the promoter was more. So therefore, it builds in confidence that the promoters are holding a major stake. So therefore, they would not do anything which will harm the company. All right, so they'll take care of the company. So if the promoter share is further increasing in the IPO or the FPO, if the promoters themselves are further contributing, then it is a good sign. It increases the confidence level that the promoters themselves are putting more money. So why shouldn't I? All right. But if the company or the promoter share remain the same, if the promoters are not putting anything extra, they are not putting anything more with the public, then okay, it is not bad, neutral, all right. But if the promoters are offloading their shares through the offer for sale, sometime you may find that the IPO or the FPO has got a component called as offer for share. Like in our case, the promoters were holding 1 million shares. Sometimes the promoter may offer to offload or sell off their own shares. Out of 1 million, they may be wanting to sell off, say, 0.2 million shares during this IPO to the public. But that is not a good sign. If the business is doing more, if the promoters are very confident about the business, if the promoters feel that the business is growing to grow further, then why would the promoters sell their stake in the business if the business is doing good? So therefore, when you find in an IPO document that there is some offer for sale, the promoters themselves are selling off a portion of their holding, then you must look at it with suspicion. Why is it that the promoters themselves are selling and they want the public to buy? A question mark. All right. And then the debt status. You see, the company has some debt. In our case, it was a very small amount, just $2 million. It could be more also. Sometimes the debt could be 50-50 also. Debt equity ratio could be 1:1 also. Now you have to see whether the company is using the IPO money to repay the debts. That will be mentioned in the document. If they want to do that, they have to disclose it. But then the question should come into your mind as to why the company is borrowing money from the public, or not borrowing. Why is the company asking a stake from the public and then repaying the debt? Because if you recollect or lesson in one of the other courses about the debt equity ratio and the financial leverage, if the debt is working good for the company, if the company is earning a profit more than the amount of interest which it has to pay. For example, if the company is paying an interest on debt at the rate of 10% and the company is earning profit at the rate of 15%, then why would the company want to repay the debt? All right. The company would want to repay the debt only if its profit are turning out to be less than the amount of interest which it has to pay, and the company is not able to tolerate paying that interest. For example, if the debt is at 10% interest and the company is making only 8% profit, that means from the shareholders' money, the company is paying the additional 2% interest. All right. So therefore, if the company is taking money from the public to repay the debt, it should be looked at with suspicion. It is a tricky question, a question mark. You have to be very careful while investing in such a company which is asking money from the public to repay the debt. And lastly, sometime you may find that the company is incurring losses. After its inception for a few years, the company keeps on incurring losses. and still it comes out with an IPO at a premium. They are themselves incurring losses and they are selling now, offloading or probably asking people to contribute for the shares at a premium. Is that justified? Often you would have seen in the market that IPOs come at a premium, but the company is loss making. Now you need to understand this. You see, when a company starts, most of the time when good companies start their business, they invest a huge amount. All right. Let us say this is vertical y-axis is about the money and the x-axis is about the time. All right. So a company invests a huge amount, and for a few years, the company will keep on pumping money and sustaining losses because they are making a customer base. Initially, the company may sell their products at a loss to make a huge customer base. They will invest a lot of money in marketing, advertisement, making the infrastructure. So the company keeps on going into a loss. They keep on incurring a loss till a particular time. Okay. And at this particular juncture, the company is now ripe, and from next year onwards they are in a position to make profits exponentially. All right, they have taken this couple of years, maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 years, to make their base, establish a customer relationship, incur a lot of losses, but now they will come up with a bang and make huge profits. So therefore you have to see that whether it is a good business which in the normal circumstances have incurred losses for making their foundation strong, for making a good customer base, or is it by default a loss making company. All right, you have to see that. And then before investing, see, you have to see where you are investing. You are investing at this juncture, at this juncture, at this juncture, at this juncture. Accordingly, the premium will be different. If you probably want to invest at this juncture, the premium will be still more because now the company is profit making. All right. But whatever the case may be, before you invest in a company which is a loss making company, you have to see the three aspects which we have discussed in the previous screen. All right. All those three aspects. And more important, or the most important, is the promoter stake. Are the promoters increasing their stake, keeping their stake unchanged, or reducing their stake? If the promoters are reducing their stake, then please remain away from such a company. Why would you and me want to invest in a company where the promoters themselves are wanting to get out? All right. So I hope this concept of IPO, FPO, and broadly their pricing is very clear to you. Actually, we should have discussed this topic towards the end, but in the flow when we were discussing it, I found it very appropriate to discuss this topic here, and therefore we have taken this lecture at this juncture. All right.